Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Skader Things. I'm your host, Obby, as always, and I'm also joined by my two lovely co-hosts, Evan and Blue.
Hello.
Evening to both
Good
of you as
morning.
well. Blue,
Good afternoon.
before we, and we also have our guest here, EmeraldsOnToast. Nice to see you here, Emerald.
EOT.
Hello.
But before we get to Emerald, though, Blue, what happened to
Yes.
your other skin?
Oh, it's just it's at the laundry. That's all.
Yeah, it's at the laundromat. That's fair.
Yeah. So Jake is working on it. We're changing it just slightly, and being that it's at the laundry / skin shop right now, I thought I'd just go with an old classic here.
Yes, we love your classic skins here, though.
Yes.
All
We're
right.
classic people. We're old.
I just had to get that topic because it was bothering me.
Yeah, thank you for noticing. So I'm excited about my new skin. I'm very excited about my new skin, but Jake had an idea and I was like, yes. And so now we wait.
Now we wait.
Because I give him way too much other work to do that he can't do my skin right away. So yeah. So it's at the shop. At the mechanic.
At the mechanic right now. At the skin mechanic.
Like Evan's car was at for 82 days. So yeah.
Yeah.
So today we are joined by the one, the only EmeraldsOnToast. The one who should have won the Mario Kart tournament.
I thought he did. I keep saying that. I thought it was
No, it was
Emerald.
Evan who still won.
Emeralds, you should have won that tournament. I was pulling for you.
We were actually talking about it beforehand, but how do you feel about that one match that was cut? This the single one that you won. How do you feel?
I feel cheated.
You should. You should feel cheated.
You should feel cheated. Do you want to talk about it? Tell us how you feel.
We
have Kleenex.
Open up to us. Open up to us. We'll be your surrogate Mario Kart therapist.
Well, we'll take him out since, you know, he's the one who won in the end. You probably don't want to see him again.
No, here's some tissues for you. There you go.
Oh.
It's okay.
Thank you.
We're here for you. The bad man in the corner. Don't look at him right now. It's scary.
I think,
I'm just kidding.
in all honesty, even if we did count that one, I think you would have gotten higher, but I think Evan still would have won. Like mathematically
Evan just wins everything.
Yeah,
Evan is so good.
We Evan wins everything, and it makes us all upset.
Yeah.
Like, why
can't it be like a skill he's never even heard of, and we're like, let's have a contest. He would still win it, hands down.
Yeah, I'm very competitive, and I think I've just always been like good at like I guess I have like that.
You're annoyingly competitive though. Like you will always make sure to get other people's skin while racing them or while playing them.
That's true.
I also just like I think it's also just I have a lot of fun with it too. Like, and I think that I've always had that mentality too, like being a competitive person of like if there's a skill or something that I'm not doing well, I have to ask what it is. I have to learn from someone else. Like, let's say, I don't know, as an example, like if we're playing Mario Kart and this is really comedic. I want to like look away so they can keep doing that, and I'm going to talk for a second. They have that in the background. As an example, like if we're playing Mario Kart and like Lord, he gets like a really really fast like speed boost at the beginning. My first instinct is, wait, how'd you do that? How do I do that? That's an advantage. I need to do that. And I think like when you have that kind of mentality with everything, it makes it a lot easier to like quickly like skill up, I guess, and just, you know, make strides, and it kind of positively carries over to random things that you wouldn't usually compete in as well.
Fair.
Like skating chairs.
I'll win the eventual Mario Kart World Tournament for sure.
Oh, we're gonna be doing this again, Emeralds. You're gonna.
It's gonna stink because I'm not planning on buying that one because I don't want to buy a Switch.
We're not gonna. Well, we're not gonna do that one. We will be hosting tournaments for both. I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Or at least the normal one until everyone else. Until everyone else is like mostly has the new one, which.
What it is about
that'll be a while for me.
It'll be
fun, a GoFundMe.
But it'll be a while.
You're a big Nintendo fan, Emerald. Are you planning on getting the Nintendo Switch 2 when it comes out?
Yeah, not until July 5th though, because that's my birthday. So.
So you're gonna be using birthday money or having your parents.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my parents are gonna get it.
That's
kind
nice.
of them. Yeah, that's awesome.
We always celebrate your birthday the day before with fireworks. I just want you to know that. You're welcome.
Yeah, we do.
I personally,
Actually.
Yeah.
July
Yeah,
4th
of
every
course,
year.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
Like, wow, the Americans are so cool. They do this every
The
year.
entirety of America celebrates your birthday the day before. They're like, no, it's Emerald Eve.
That's crazy.
Yeah, when
probably
you see
isn't.
green ones, that's just for you.
There probably is an American out there who does believe that the 4th of July is for somebody's birthday and doesn't question what
Well, I mean, it is America. It literally is for America's birthday.
It is
No,
American.
I mean, yeah, technically.
It's actually
Yeah,
weird
speaking of
though,
birthdays.
because technically the day that the Declaration was signed was July 2nd, but it wasn't ratified until the 4th. So
It's because we take a few days to do everything here. So
we've been taking time to do
Even back
things since
then.
back then. Okay.
You know what I think
we're like,
more-
it's the owly mentality. I can't be arsed. I can't be
Yeah.
bothered. Well,
I
maybe
think
tomorrow.
I think what's more significant is the actual like waging of the revolution. I think that's even more significant. That was a fucking
Yeah.
brave thing to do. Like when you think about like who was actually lording over America, it was at the time the most powerful empire in history. Like that's a hard thing to stand up to. I think that's even more.
And
cool
now
than
we're the most
actual-
powerful empire in history.
Hooray! Funny
Yay.
how that works.
But yeah, I want to actually ask you, Emerald, how are you feeling about the Nintendo Switch 2 and subsequently Mario Kart World price hikes?
I'm pretty excited for the games themselves. I'm not excited about the price at all, especially in Canada. It's Mario Kart World is $109.99. Where I live.
Jesus.
I know
Donkey
that is
Kong is
Canadian dollars, so
$99.99.
So games
Mario
are going to be
Party-
$100 from here on out, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, Mario Party is $114.99.
What?
the hell, man?
Wait,
This
like
is-
the Mario Party
I
Jamboree
know-
game?
Yeah,
You need to
for
cross the
Switch 2
border
edition.
Oh,
and
okay.
like come over and get it from here. Although I don't think we're going to be a lot better, but
I mean, probably not.
I think the real person to go to in this call would be Evan and say, Evan, I'm gonna
Evan, I
PayPal
need you
something.
to.
I need you to
Uh,
mail me something.
It'll be cheaper to get
the
mailed.
US.
Like,
The US
literally, it
dollar, I
really
think it-
would. Between our
Like-
price hikes and Canada's high prices in general, we know
they-
where to go.
If the conversion doesn't mistake me, I believe that right now the Canadian
Put my
dollar
knife
is
away.
like I think for every 10 Canadian dollars, it's $7 US. So I think it's $70
Yeah.
equivalent for the prices that they're paying for the game, which is still absurd, by the way. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
it. See, I'm sort of in the boat of like I don't love Nintendo enough to justify like paying for a Switch, and it won't be as expensive here, of course. But
Yeah.
I can't justify buying a new Switch like some people can. But ever since I've known you, you've always been really mad about Nintendo. Like I'd say like of all the sort of like series that like you'd talk about and the games you'd buy, it was always something Nintendo related. So I think when you're a big Nintendo fan like you, it doesn't matter what price it is, you're going to pay for it because you want to experience that. And I think that's a very very
Yeah.
reasonable mentality for people who love it. Like I spent more money than I probably should on things that I'm really passionate about. Even if it is almost a blatant scam, like why would you spend that much money? But for me, it's like no, it's cool. Like that's what I care
Yeah.
about.
Are you feeling seen, Evan?
I am feeling seen.
Yeah. But Emeralds, what other games are you excited about when it comes to Nintendo? And like, what is your history with Nintendo? I guess I should ask.
The first Nintendo game I ever played wasn't even an official Nintendo game. It was a Flash game online. It was like it's called Super Mario Flash, and it was just these
I remember
Mario
that game.
levels you could play online.
Oh,
And that was when I was
yeah.
about
Yep.
4.
Super Mario Flash. I remember that game.
It
Wow.
was I discovered it when I was in when I was in therapy for like I think it was like ABA therapy or something like that. Anyway, we had like a group of kids, and basically if you were a good kid during that day, you would get to be able to play a Nintendo DS for a day.
Oh wow.
And man, I was so mad when I couldn't get one.
They raised the competitiveness through getting the ability to play on the Nintendo DS.
Yeah.
It's fostered in.
Yeah. But when I was 5 or 6, I got a DSi, and actually, I didn't get Mario 64 DS. It was my sister's copy that I stole and I would play.
Nice.
Did she
Then
ever
I got
find
a
out?
Wii. Yes.
Oh, was she mad?
Yes.
Do
But
you still
you're
have
still here,
scars?
so you're still here, so that's all that matters.
Oh yeah, it's fine. You can reconcile that.
And then I got a Wii. I got Mario Kart Wii on it, which is a fucking amazing game.
Mario Kart Wii
Uh,
is my favorite Wii. My favorite.
Your
Wii
favorite
game.
Wii is Mario Kart Wii?
Sorry, my favorite Mario Kart
Wii.
is the Wii, the original Wii, because that's the one I played the most. So versus like the Switch or whatever.
Hmm.
And then I
Riley and
got
I used to play
Mario.
it a lot.
I also got Mario Galaxy as well.
Classic.
That game is phenomenal. Yeah, there were
Yeah.
so many good games on the Wii. Like, I think if I named all of them, all the ones I played, we'd run out of time. So I think I'm just
Mhm.
gonna leave it to
Oh, there
those
are.
two.
It's a very widespread franchise, and it's like when I first met you, like obviously the Nintendo Switch didn't even exist yet. It was barely even a concept. The Wii U
Hmm.
was the thing, and yeah, it was always kind of like the main discussion between us about like the games that you'd play. And I don't know, they are just so classic, and I think that although you know, Nintendo games only make up like you know a fraction of the gaming industry. I still feel like in a lot of ways Nintendo is like the face of gaming. When we think gaming, we think Mario. When we think gaming, we think like
Pokemon.
Kirby or like Donkey Kong.
Animal
So,
Crossing.
very
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Did you ever play any of the older ones though? Emeralds, like, did you ever play like Super Mario Brothers or Super Mario Brothers 2 or 3 or Yoshi's Island? Like, did you ever play
One of
the
my
old school ones?
favorite classic Mario games is Mario Brothers 3. I love that game
Ooh,
so
so when you
much.
could fly, when you, yeah. And
Yeah, the
that was when it
Tanuki.
it also introduced the swimming Mario. That was rad.
Yeah, the Frog Mario,
Frog
who could
Mario.
swim.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was a magical game. I
That's
don't
still
really
one of my
like
all-time
I
favorites.
don't really like Super Mario World as much. I mean, it did have Yoshi, which was nice, but I don't know.
You know
I
what I didn't
like
like about
Mario
that
3
game? You
more.
couldn't go backwards. Like you can't once your screen goes forward, you cannot backtrack. And that always really bothered me about Super Mario Brothers because I like to backtrack sometimes and like restart. You know, like I just backtrack sometimes, and you can't do
Mhm.
that with Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers 2 is my all-time favorite, all-time favorite video
That game
game.
is underrated.
It is, thank you. And like I have it memorized, like World War II. Like I have it memorized. Like I can play with my eyes closed to this day. Like I'm always, you know, princess for that one due to how long she could like glide in the air. And that's a game
Yeah.
that also taught us how to gamble. Come on, you guys.
Oh,
No,
The
that was
slot
Pokemon.
machine.
That was Pokemon Diamond
This
for me. Sorry.
Oh, the slot machine at the end. So depending on how well you do, you can get coins and then you can match up, you know, and yeah, it's you know, it's awesome. And then you got
I learned
3
gambling.
where you're doing that, but you're
We
doing it
love
in
gambling
game.
here on Skader things.
We love it, especially when
Gambling-
it's induced by video games.
Especially when it doesn't involve our
I don't
money.
endorse. I don't endorse gambling. I'm joking. Although my introduction to gambling was very unique, actually. I like started gambling when I played a game called Stick RPG 2. It was like this flash game where you basically played as like a stick figure. It was like an RPG where you'd have to like get a job and go to work, but like there was a lot of really cool stuff in it, and there was actually like a casino in that game. So any money that you made,
Oh, you're
from,
talking
like,
real
playing the
gambling.
no, I'm not. I'm not talking real
Oh
gambling. at
no,
all. I'm
meaning
talking-
like it's a casino. It's like a literal like in game you're playing. Like
Mhm.
as if you're
yeah. Exactly,
Whereas
yeah.
Mario is more just it's the mechanics that
Yeah,
are
it's like-
similar.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like playing that, and what I would do is I'd like create I'd create a save. I would then like gamble, and make money, and then if I lost, I would just reload the save file of the last win that I got, and I'd just keep doing that, and I'd make a bunch of money.
See, I
was
just
the
use
smart
slot
move.
machines in Pokemon.
Yeah, you're more normal. There was like a horse racing machine in that game where you would always bet on the same exact one, and you'd always win. It was called like Unicornelius, and it didn't always win, but it had like the highest chance of winning, and so it won like 2 of every 3 games you'd like hit. So I would just save after each massive amount that I gambled, and then I'd reload the save after I lost, and then yeah, I'd just keep making money. It was great. Professional gambler right here.
Yeah.
He is a professional at something.
I am.
That's something. I was gonna say.
So, Emeralds, with
Mhm.
your love for Nintendo, you also are a very big fan of Minecraft, as we have seen as well. Where you wanted to talk about your animations and your animation career,
Mm.
that you are an animator and it is something that you are wanting to pursue for a professional career in the future. Can you talk about like your history with animation, like how you got into it and stuff like that? Was Nintendo a big inspiration or were other cartoons? What say you?
The Powerpuff Girls.
My biggest inspirations were Slamacow, if you ever watched
Yep,
them.
I
Oh,
love
That was
I
one
know
of my
Slamacow.
biggest
Slamacow.
inspirations. The Witch Encounter and the Spleef animations, those really inspired me
Mm,
to animate. Um, yeah, and it's a weird story. I got into it because I found one of my friends, Saren. Uh, they were actually making Minecraft renders with Minimator and stuff.
hmm
And at the time, I I thought they were like really cool. I didn't even know you could like there was like a whole software dedicated to just making Minecraft stuff. So when I found that out, I was like, wow.
Like
And
super
so
cool.
yeah. Then come 2016, actually very beginning of 2016, I found out, yeah, I found Minimator, I downloaded it, I made my very first render on it. And it was basically it was me like finding a chest and there was like a spider behind me. And then one of my friends was like, "Watch out!" or something like that. So
Mm,
it was an innocent little creation. And then I made a couple more and then I was like, "You know what? I'll do an animation." So I spent like 3 hours making my very first animation and I put it up on a forum for a server slash community I used to be a part of, and pretty much all my friends loved it, even though it looked terrible.
Oh,
So yeah.
You used to when I like met you, me and friends. Hang on, I'm
you
about to
and
get my
friends.
sentences all up. Me and friends. I have been
One
emerald
day.
with
You've been Emerald
I have
with
been emerald
friends.
with friends for years. Yeah, yeah. I've been emerald with friends for
Are
years.
you blushing?
No,
You want to say our
Is
and
this your
name?
Emerald.
crush?
I'm like, do you want to trade spots?
What?
Because I'm a little closer to him. Like,
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
this is the
Me and
hot segment of
Emerald.
the episode.
What?
Yeah, it really
I've
is
never
not.
seen Evan quite so
Shaken up
It's so
by a guest
yeah,
flustered. I
before.
tripping
know.
over words here.
Yeah, no. No. Me and Emerald have been friends for about, oh god, actually, I don't like saying that. It's been now basically 10 years, Emerald, since we were friends, since we first met. Nearly,
Mm.
just about.
It's
So
been
sad.
10 years since Ren and Lord started dating. I mean, come
Yeah,
on, guys, it's time to get going.
yeah, it's getting a bit concerning here. So, yeah, me and Emerald have been friends for like 10 years, and I remember like growing up, like Emerald was always using like Minimator and was always doing like some really like tinkering with it all the time. He made some really cool animations, and yeah, maybe like nowadays you'd look at them and say they weren't very good, but honestly, for the time and like for your age, they were actually really well done, and they had a lot of comedy in them, and you put a lot of time and energy into them, and I remember always enjoying each one that you made. And I remember, I think there
Mm.
was even one time where you were like, back on the days of Skype, you were actually sharing a screen while making an episode, which was quite cool.
Oh yeah.
So we have a lot of good memories from like spending time online together, and yeah, I just always remember like Minimator was a huge part of kind of your life back then, and in a way it probably still is. I think I don't know if you use it as much anymore, but
I stopped using it actually. I'm looking to move on to like more professional software in the future,
oh
like
yeah, fair
Blender and
enough.
stuff like that. Because I feel like only Minecraft stuff can carry me so far.
Hmm.
So it's good to,
Yeah.
branch out.
Well, I mean, so
Burst your bubble.
far, I mean, you have the example of Slamacow, who is now developing his own video game. So
That's awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
yeah, him and Laura
Wow.
Shigihara, who probably, if you are a Minecraft fan, would know is the voice behind Cubeland, one of the best Minecraft videos of all time. They created a video game on Steam, and it was actually his last video he ever posted to his channel was the trailer for that video game. I never played it, but from what I have seen on like Steam reviews and stuff, it is really well received. So love to see that.
Cool.
But I do want to talk about Slamacow for a bit, because I was also one of the people who was just like amazed by everything that Slamacow did, because it was always like, in comparison to the rest of the Minecraft animation scene at the time, his was always just like way cleaner, way superior than a lot of other people's stuff that they were doing. Even so, like
Yeah.
whenever you saw him in the name of like a Captain Sparkles music video, you knew that animation was going to be some of the best thing you've seen in Minecraft in this entire like lifespan of Minecraft. Cubeland is another good example of that, where Cubeland was one of the most well done Minecraft music videos of all time, in my opinion. So I'm glad to hear that like it's gotten to the point now where like this niche YouTube animator who was known for making some of the most crisp Minecraft animations of all time is now basically, in a spiritual sense, coming back and has inspired this next wave of animators to pursue further career paths and stuff like that, which I find extremely cool.
Yeah.
Definitely. I remember, like, when I was growing up, another big one who was quite prominent, who had a very similar animation style to Slamacow, so much so that I would occasionally get them mixed up, was a guy called BlueMonkey. I don't know if any of you will know
Oh,
him.
yeah.
My favorite video that he ever did was the "Do you want to build a snowman?" I think he made it when like Frozen had like just come out. Yeah, he made it when
2014.
like Frozen had just come. Yeah, that was it. It had just come out in 2014, and so he made like a 10-second animation video. It was called like "Do you want to build a snowman?" And basically like this girl knocks on the door. This was like twinkling music, and the door opens and a snowball just gets thrown in her face. It was really funny, but it was in like Minecraft. It was quite well done. I don't know why I just suddenly remembered that, but that I know like BlueMonkey did very similar Minecraft like animation videos, and they were very, very classic.
So when it comes to pursuing animation as a career, Emeralds, what are you wanting to do? Like, are you wanting to work on cartoons? Are you want to be an indie developer, company freelance? What are you wanting to do?
I'm looking to actually partner with my friend who actually helped write my most recent animation. I can't really say much about it.
Ooh,
Okay.
The project we're working on, because it's like on the down low, but
Hype.
That's exciting.
Ooh, that is exciting. Could I
yeah.
ask a couple questions about like, is this a independent project from you two, or is this like one with a wider cast of people than just you two?
It's going to be a wider cast.
Okay. Well, that is really cool to see. I mean, getting collaboration experience, always a good thing, whether if it's professional or amateur, like having that experience looks good on anything. So, and
Yeah, my friend, they own like a whole an indie like animation studio, I think
oh, wow.
you would call it, or like an animation collective of like people who storyboard, animate and stuff like that. So yeah, it'll be really I'm really excited to work on that,
That's
because
really
it'll be
cool.
my like first foray, I feel like, into doing potentially stuff like other than Minecraft animations. So
Good. I'm actually looking
yeah.
forward to hearing about this, like when it's further developed, because I think it's really cool that you're kind of like bursting your bubble a bit and trying something a bit different. Because I think Minecraft like animation has always kind of been entrenched into your kind of style, which is nothing wrong with. But I think it's nice to be able to say that you're kind of trying new like avenues and exploring different sort of routes. So I think it'll be
Yeah.
cool.
I definitely agree. Uh, well, what about like past this project? Have you thought of anything that you're wanting to do like post this project that you're working on with your partner? Like video games, cartoons, anything like that? Or just like gonna go where the wind takes me?
Just go where the wind takes me, really.
And if it
I
Good way
takes
to
really don't
you
know.
to working at Nintendo, how happy are you gonna be?
Man, I don't know. We'll have to see. I definitely do want to work on it. Work on this show I'm working on. Like, I wanted to have longevity, like in the future. That's my main goal. Like,
Mm.
I want it to last a while. Uh, I'm sorry. I'm very bad at answering questions.
No,
You're
you're
all
doing
right. You're doing
great.
well.
You're doing great.
You are doing wonderful, my good friend. Don't even worry about it. Take your time.
Like, if I do go
Realize I'm gonna
down the
wake
route
up.
of like original animations, I do want the show to have like longevity,
Hmm.
because I feel like doing Minecraft animations for like a while, it gets a bit repetitive. Like, I won't lie, just animating the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, you don't have that
Absolutely.
many creative expressions you can take with Minecraft.
Yeah. Whereas if it's fully original, I can like do whatever I want, basically. So
Yeah.
Mm.
No, definitely. I think Minecraft can and does have a place in animation in terms of like some of the stuff you can do, but it does after a while. There's only so many ways you can make the same joke. There's only so many ways you can write a scene because it has to be done in the confines of sort of the cubic physics of Minecraft, which
yeah.
I mean, you could just defy it entirely, but then the animation would just look weird and it would look out of
Yeah,
place.
it wouldn't even be Minecraft essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So no, I think it's good that you're kind of branching onto new things, and I think when you're doing the same thing over and over, particularly for several years, it definitely can get very repetitive. So I want to address something
Mhm.
you put on here, and that's regarding burnout and how you can overcome it. I'm very interested to hear what you have to say about this because I'm sure you no doubt experienced this as an animator. And see, guys, my segues are so good every time.
That
I
one
had a
wasn't very
better
good,
one in mind,
honestly.
but okay.
Yeah, that one actually jumped the gun a little bit, but
Yeah,
it's okay.
I had a
Oh,
way better
what? Oh,
lead in.
sorry.
It's
So
okay. I was really enjoying the other part, but
yeah.
we're moving on, Emerald.
No,
Evan
we can
has
we can
moved the
stick on the
conversation, so
we can stick on the topic if you want.
he's
Sorry, I almost
no,
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 no.
forgot.
you
You've
already did the
already done
segue.
your
You did the
segue. It's already
segue.
done.
We are now here.
We can segue
We are
back.
here, so we're jumping.
I intend to.
Talk to us about burnout, how we can overcome it. Because it's funny you did bring that one up because this has been brought up. It was also brought up on Saren's. I don't know if you got a chance to listen to Saren's, but
Mhm.
burnout comes up quite a bit on Skate in general, whether it be our live channel or Vent Rant channel, FSF sessions,
Skader
and
things
even on the
itself.
podcast. Skater things, yeah, it literally comes up a lot because as autistics, we do experience burnout, and we do experience it more uniquely, I think, than a neurotypical person does. And we would discuss that multiple times in multiple places on Skade. But when it comes to you and burnout, how do you is this something, are you talking with your drawing and your animation, or with gaming in general, or just life in general? Like where do you find that you see your burnout the most?
I'd say like anytime I'm working on like a personal project, I get burnout quite a lot. There was one time, like, I think the reason why I experience one of the reasons why I experience it so much is because I don't really have like a schedule. Like, my mind cannot stick to like one schedule because once I get started doing something, I just cannot put it down for a while. Like, I just get so fixated on it.
Mhm.
Like, there was this one time back in 2020, I was working on an animation all the way up to like 5 in the morning. So,
You
like,
must be
I would get,
autistic. It sounds that sounds like
yeah.
a hyperfixation, and
Mhm.
sometimes time just does not exist when we are hyper focused on something. And then when we are aware of the time or someone points it out to us, it's almost agitating when people do that. It's like, I'm not done. I cannot move on until I finish what it is I have in my head.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that
like,
that can lead to extreme burnout if done too repetitively. Meaning you
mhm,
have too many 5 a.m. days. You're
yeah.
gonna get there a
But like,
lot
that's the thing.
quicker.
but that's kind of one of the, that's kind of why I enjoy doing what I do. I get to do it for like a very long period of time. So in some ways, I see it as a good thing, but
Mm.
I guess in general, it is pretty unhealthy.
I mean, you still
But
get to
That's
see all those like little improvements though that like yeah, it may have taken you an entire week to just do 6 seconds of this animated short, but that 6 seconds you are very proud of at the end of it. It's like, wow, I'm actually making progress on that thing.
Mm.
yeah, of course. I
and
mean,
it's yeah.
I do still get frustrated by that. Like I've only finished 6 seconds, but I look at the end result and I'm happy with it too. So it's a very mixed feeling I get, honestly.
Hmm.
Like
Sounds
I
like
have a
it.
lot of mixed feelings on this topic, honestly. But
And when your
yeah.
passion is your job, I will say it's a whole nother mindset. And I think that's what you were a little bit touching on, because it's one thing when it's your own free time and I'm just, I'm messing around and I'm making this. But when it's like, okay, now like this is becoming your career, this is your now career. And you're giving that same kind of dedication and time to something, it's a whole nother way of thinking about things. It's just a lot harder.
Hmm.
Because now
Mhm.
this isn't just your for fun. This is now your job.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you about like so obviously burnout in animation is very very prevalent. Animation is an industry notorious for like low wages and also like overwork a lot of the time. And I meant to actually ask this question last time to Arctic because Arctic is also big into animation, more 3D animation, but still. How do you feel about like just the entire animation business side of the industry about like how there is a lot of layoffs and stuff like that? Does that contribute to like your burnout in a sense, or does that just like make you does that make you want to continue in this industry uh professionally that way, or does it make you want to keep on the indie side, that what you're currently doing with your friend?
Yeah, I'm looking to keep on the indie side. There was I remember hearing something from this one person who actually was a faculty, I believe, for the program in college I'm taking this September.
Mhm.
Uh, they said like their friend, they worked at the studio in Canada called Mercury Filmworks, and they said like the deadlines are no joke at all. Like they're extremely tight, and
Yeah.
there's like no free time for anything else. Like it's genuinely crazy. But yeah, I'm very interested in how the indie animation part of the industry turns out, because I think when you don't have this like corporate executive looking over at you at all times who doesn't know anything about animation or the creative process, it's a lot easier to break into. And I think
Yeah.
that's what makes indie animation so great,
I just pictured the
is
guy
that
from.
it's just
Sorry.
creatives, pretty much.
Hmm.
When you
Evan.
described that executive, I was imagining like the insurance like boss guy from The Incredibles. You know, like the really short guy who looks
Oh
so
yeah.
like
I'm
just
not
Robert
happy.
Pass. Yeah, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, and he's just short and he's just so like rude. He's got an awful haircut and he's just like scrutinizing everything Bob does in the company. Just thought of that when you talked about that executive looking over your shoulder. That's just all I thought of for some reason.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I will say that like I am obviously a very huge fan of animation. I mean, people know me on this podcast for being the biggest weeb and just being a very huge anime fan. But even beforehand, I was watching like all the original like 2000 shows. Ed and Eddie was one of my most favorite cartoons of all time, Teen Titans and stuff like that back in my day when I was growing up. And it is very sad seeing like how in actuality, like in more recent years, more just these animators for these shows that are beloved and across the board, they are being taken a lot of the times taken advantage of, especially at like animation studios in Japan. Like I know that there's been the recent case with Mappa
Yeah.
Studios,
Napa, yeah.
who is like notorious for overworking their employees almost to the brink of like chronic disease a lot of the time. And it is very sad, but I'm really happy that there are like, for every bad studio there is, or every time that there is one that's like pays very little and stuff like that, there is like all these other smaller studios that are trying to do something about this industry, whether if it's a small studio from Kyoto or a small studio from, I don't know, Glendale somewhere. I don't know, but it's
Glendale, Arizona.
Glendale, Arizona, South
It's really a
Pine,
town.
North Carolina. I don't know at this point. I'm just naming off towns I was looking at recently. But it's just nice to see that like people are actually showing more respect to animation as a whole and like realizing what these people are going through. I mean, you're, especially in like traditional animation, you're drawing like a bunch of stuff just for them to all be like less than a second a film almost. So
Mhm.
it's very, very nice to see like more respect given to animators in recent years, but also it's very sad to see when that respect is not given and overwork is abundant because of corporate executives.
Yeah.
And that definitely contributes to a lot of burnout, I feel, for a lot of those employees.
Yeah.
But getting into a little bit more happier of a topic, one of the topics you put down was looking back on past memories with your friends. And we've had Saren on the podcast before. We have Everin. Wow.
Everin,
That
I
was,
like it.
I'm now doing your thing right now, Evan.
Yeah,
We have
clearly.
Evan,
Wow,
who,
you guys are getting all tongue tied over Emerald here.
sorry. Evan obviously is on our
You're so
podcast every
silly, Emerald.
episode, and you've been friends with him for a very long time. I wanted to hear about like these past stories because like back on the old place that we were all at, I have seen your name before, but I never really interacted with you. I only interacted with Saren once during that place, and I never interacted with Evan. So I'm curious about like
I think I just lit your
other
portals. That
sides.
was it. The three of you guys, Scales, Saren, and yourself, were like a little trio over there. I lit some portals for
Yeah.
you, but that's about the most I got to know you guys too.
Yeah.
Evan, it's all you now.
Oh, thank you.
Be nostalgic.
Yeah, we've Emerald. Emerald
Be
and I have
nostalgic.
known Emerald and I have known each other for about 10 years, and yeah, we met on the old community we were a part of, and I met Saren, and I also met Scales, sort of by extension. I'd known Scales a bit longer, but and I'd say me and Scales were friends, but we weren't like close. But then Emerald had befriended Scales, and so I kind of got to know Scales in a more sort of close manner because of that. But we did all sorts of stuff together. We built bases on the old community. We would always hang out in Skype calls, and then eventually Discord when we all made the switch. And yeah, like we've done everything like together. Like he really is a very long lasting friend, and it's kind of hard to point to specific like memories, like because there's just so many different things we did, and like so many things we've talked about, so many like jokes we used to make, like it's crazy. We used to a lot, and I think you'll remember this quite fondly, Emerald. Back when Engine was still a thing, we used to use that all the damn time, and we were always making like posts on there. We'd post memes, we'd do all sorts of stuff. We'd interact with each other, and it was actually really cool because it would mean like if we weren't in a call or we weren't messaging on Discord, we kind of have like this other way of hanging out, and I don't know. That one really rings strongly to me when I think about sort of friendship.
Yeah. Now it's an NFT site.
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
the great fall from grace, as it were.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those are kind of the main things that really stand out when I think about like our time together. But we've of course, like many friend groups, we've had like quiet spells where we haven't talked to each other in a while, but then we always kind of hop back in a call and do some like Minecraft stuff or anything like that. And yeah, I think it's just really nice to be able to say that I have that in Emerald as a friend. And yeah.
So obviously I know where you two both met, but like, can I get a story of like how you guys met, and also the story of how you met Saren as well? Because like you
know what?
you touched on like
I actually
meeting before, but
Actually-
like how exactly?
I actually don't even remember how I
Yeah.
met Evan, to be honest.
I don't remember either. It's
So
one of those
weird.
things. Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I was gonna let you answer first because I legitimately don't know. Like we know the where. I have many memories of us interacting and being friends. I just don't remember exactly how we became friends. I can't remember
I
if like you
swear it
needed
had to have been on Engine, right? Like I remember commenting on a lot
I-
of your posts. We would have like
I
long
think-
discussions. and stuff.
Yeah, you know what?
Evan,
You know
long
what?
discussions. Yes, that sounds right.
Even back then, I was the same kid.
Sold.
No,
I don't say anything else.
I actually think, you know, I think you're right. I think our friendship was actually quite unique in as much as we didn't become friends on the server and then interacted on Engine. It was quite the opposite. We sort of became friends on Engine because everybody added everybody on Engine. It wasn't like a special thing. But Emerald and I, in particular, interacted with each other's posts a lot. So we kind of became friends very organically that way. And then, of course, because we were both regulars on the server, it was very easy for us to log in and hang out. So I actually think you're right, Emerald. I think we became friends via Engine and like just constantly and daily interacting with each other's posts. And then it just sort of blossomed into an actual Minecraft friendship.
Yeah.
This is why we started shipping you guys at the beginning of this episode.
Oh my god.
It sounds like a
No.
romance story almost.
Oh
A bromance.
god.
Oh my
Oh
god.
Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. Well, welcome to Blue and Obby, Emerald.
Hi.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's insane how long it's been.
Yeah.
It is very and we did touch on this a bit in Saren's episode too, but it is really cool to just see like all these faces that like you've seen like passing by a lot of times, and now you get to know them. Now you've gotten to know them on a deeper level. And I mean, I said it specifically back then, but like meeting, like knowing who Ben or Rin or Buddy was not the same as like getting to know them, obviously, now the way I know them now. So
Yeah.
it's really cool like actually getting to finally meet you, Emeralds, because I remember always seeing you and Scales together a lot, and Scales was like very prominent in the old place that we were because he was a very loud and very helpful fellow, and also was always talking about his YouTube channel, which was
Yeah,
always really
and
cool.
baseball.
Is one of his many YouTube channels.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
I remember more about baseball.
And just to like, since I knew you from that, it's really cool to now meet you more because of Skade and stuff like that, to just see like, oh, so this is the kind of person you actually are. Because obviously when you
Mhm.
don't see, like, whenever you meet someone or like whenever you're passing by them, you don't know what they do, like what they specialize in and stuff like that. So it's really cool to like, after all these years of knowing the face but not knowing who you are, to actually meet you more in depth from Skade.
Yeah.
I'd say the same for Blue, but I never met her until like 2018. So
2018. Yep, that's when fried chicken and Elvis. So
going along,
and Evan and I met in 2024. No,
I
2022. 2021.
Yep.
Sorry, Evan.
Yeah.
2021.
It's all right.
I do want to ask you, because one of the things that you did list out was getting into drawing. So how much of this was Saren's influence?
Maybe a little bit.
Oh, okay. And how
Were
much
you the one that influenced Saren?
is she pressuring you, or are they pressuring you right now? Is there
No,
anything going on that we
No.
should be aware of?
No. It's all me. It's all
Okay,
me.
okay.
That's awesome.
I believe you. I believe you.
He's being held
Yes.
hostage. He's getting like messages from like Saren right now saying, "Don't tell them."
You better not tell them anything right now.
Yeah.
What got you into drawing, though?
Well, it started when about 2022. I really wanted to go into animation in college, but first I had to take another program called it was called Drawing Foundations or something like that. And so basically it's meant to build up your drawing skills to prepare you for animation.
Mm-hmm.
So you do stuff like life drawing, character design, layout. I was in the beginning I was terrible at all of it. Layout I was decent in. Um, but yeah, I eventually dropped out because just my skills were not up to par clearly by the time the program was about to end.
Mm.
So I was very sad for the rest of the year. That so I decided to go back into programming, which is something that I haven't done since I was like 10. I did that for a couple of years, and now I think I'm I'm like more I think I'm more mature now to take on the drawing program again.
Yeah.
Since I've gotten a lot more pencil mileage in these past couple of or few months now.
Mm-hmm.
I have shared a few of my drawings to Skade. One of them was actually a portrait of my mom, um, which she wanted me to draw a picture of her to send to like her school that she works at. She basically helps people on the spectrum and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because yeah, I mean, she wanted me to draw a picture for her because all the staff were making pictures of themselves and stuff. So she asked, you're good at drawing. Why don't you do it? And so I did it. I gave it to her, and everyone at school loved it. Apparently,
Oh,
even though
That
I didn't
is
really like
so
it very
wholesome.
much. But
that's wholesome. I was thinking the same thing. That's so wholesome.
Mm. I have to imagine if you're a parent with an artistic like child, how exhilarating that must be. Because I remember being the least artistic person imaginable growing up in my household. And whenever I brought back like something from art class that was supposed to be framed and stuff like that, I would always think about like how horrible it actually is. But like because parents are like, oh, we don't want to break their spirits and stuff like that, we have to make sure we hang it up and stuff like that. Like it's nostalgic, I guess. But I always think to myself, oh, thank goodness for the people I would be so thrilled if I had an artistic child to be like, thankfully it's something that looks good on the wall. Thankfully. Oh, breathe, big sigh of relief.
I'm like sitting here thinking about all the stuff my parents like framed,
Mhm.
going, oh, wait a minute.
I have my mom still has like two of my pictures I made in art class back in middle school framed, and both of them are so bad.
Oh,
Like,
geez.
every time I see them, I'm like, I'm glad you two are doing this. You don't need to keep them hung up at this point.
That's funny.
But yeah, you talked about so just for a clarification question, did you drop out of the class or did you drop out of college?
I dropped out of college.
Okay, because I can relate to you in this sense because I
Yeah.
also dropped out of college. I was going for computer engineering at the time, and
Mm.
very similar to you, I had a class that was really, really difficult. That made basically was the one that made me drop out, which was physics. But before that, back in my
Ooh.
freshman year of college, I took a class that was like a CAD class, basically working on like the computer programs to like not make stuff, but like helps you with like designing things, thinking AutoCAD, CreoWorks, and stuff like that. And that entire class, the entire purpose of that class was to like drill it into your head like how much orientation matters, like how you orientate your product to make sure that it is not only appealing but also make sure that it is functional by every like side of it and stuff like that. And I remember like going to this class and being like, this sucks. I am not that good at orientating properly. It's really hard. I mean, I will tell you this. A little bit of embarrassing. I did not know like about the right from your left, the like L's that you do on your hands. Like,
Oh, I live by that.
I did not know about that
live by
technique
that.
until high school.
Oh,
Every
okay, well, that's not
time,
what I
Oh, I
learned.
was-
every time
I was the
beforehand,
same.
I was like, which hand do I write with? And I have to think for a second. I write
Oh,
with
yeah.
my right hand, so this is my left hand. Like, that's
Min's
how
even
I've always
joked I
done
need to
that.
get him tattooed. Like, I always hold it up when I'm driving, and he'll say like, "Oh, go left," and I'll hold up an L, and he laughs. He's like, "You should just get it tattooed, like a little
Weird.
L and a little R."
I'm really weird. I actually relate to you quite a lot of it. I never knew about that technique either until I was told by Tom about it when I was like 14 or 15. But I've never really had trouble with like my left and right. Whenever I picture left and right, this is really weird. In my brain, I think of like this T junction that takes you and you either go to one town like in my area or you go to a different town depending on like if you go left or right. And whenever I'm thinking of left and right, and if I ever get mixed up, my brain immediately brings up that picture. And I'm like, left is that way, right is this way. And I've just always been I've never really had any confusion. But I didn't learn about the hands either until I was like a teenager.
Yeah. But because of my very bad disregard for learning my lefts to my rights, I was not the best at orientation. Also doing that, combining with like learning coding for the first time, because even though I was a computer engineer, I never learned how to program until college. That sucked. C# is a terrible language and I hate it for the life of me. And just like a bunch of that.
I like C#.
I'm like, that's a language? I thought it was a note.
It's
What?
Okay, fine. But a lot of those led me up to then physics class, and I'm like, what? Because like in high school, physics was just like, yeah, physics is just math, but application purposes. And that was understandable to me because I was like pretty decent at math. Then you get to college, it's like, okay, guys, so let's talk about the theoretical side of physics. And all of it was so much harder because you have to like take into practice and think about every single thing that could happen beforehand. And it's just like, it was overload for me. Speaking of overload, sensory overload. And you want to talk about sensory issues, I've heard.
That was a
Yeah.
fantastic transition.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was good, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Did your ice cream fall?
Clearly his was a lot better time than mine. Jesus.
Hey, the last few though, you've done really well. The last few episodes. So.
Oh well, thank you.
Yeah, I
But
would
that
say
was
the
a-
one
that
that
was
you
a
did in
great
Arctic's
trans-
episode was still an 8 out of 10. The one earlier
Yeah.
was like a 6 out of 10.
Maybe 5.5.
Yep, thank
yeah.
you. Yeah. That sounds
So
about
I
right.
don't even try. I just nod.
Clearly, I was too early and I feel bad.
Hey, sometimes being early is great.
Mhm.
Yeah, well.
Anyways, so sensory issues.
Sensory issues. We all have them. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Don't
I've
like that.
never really considered it to be an autism issue until like now that I'm more aware of like how my disability affects me. But I do remember because I thought it was just like, oh, I just hate loud sounds. Everybody hates loud sounds. But for me, it gets like, I mean, it's just autism, all right? Like, you hear enough loud sounds and your brain just explodes.
You want to
basically.
rage. It's like raging
Yeah.
for me in my brain. Like I'm going,
Oh,
if
yeah.
I don't escape, I'm going to lose it. Yeah.
Yeah. It was one of the reasons why I always hated going to family gatherings because it was just so loud all the time. Like I never really had a place like a quiet place to go to. I always had to be with my family and stuff, which I mean, it is nice being with family, obviously. You know, I don't hate being with family. It's just it gets loud to a point where I just want to explode, you know.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Yeah. And I always felt bad about not really participating much in family gatherings because of that, which makes me hate having autism a lot because you don't really get to experience some things as well as neurotypicals do, which, yeah, you know.
It's a challenge. It's a real
You just
challenge.
have to do it differently, and if those things are not set up and in place, then you really don't do it. But I know, like for me, because I also struggle with family gatherings, especially with the anticipation of knowing I'm going to have to hug them either welcome or goodbye, because I really struggle with that.
Yeah.
And so I would have anxiety attacks just knowing, oh God, we're going to be leaving in an hour. And that means I'm going to be expected to hug my grandma and my aunt, my uncle. And like, and I would, so it was really hard. But once my parents kind of realized, like, okay, these are, these bad behaviors are coming out because of this, then it was more like, hey, do you want to go inside and watch TV for a little bit? Like, they started building me in these sensory breaks without even really knowing what a sensory break was. And then when I got able to really vocalize how much anxiety the hugging does cause me, then it became like, do you want a high five? And I'm like, yes, I can do that. Like, and so coming up with other ways to still be part of things, but having those little breaks, and then also being able to remove some of the big triggers for me, like hugging or, you know, having to be in certain rooms that just have overpowering smells or lights or, noise. Like the kitchens, I couldn't be near the kitchens. It was just too much. Too many conversations at once, too many laughing, too many, all positive things. Like you said, it's a very positive thing to see your family, a big group like that, but it can be so overwhelming.
Mm.
So overwhelming to where you start to think you don't enjoy something that you actually kind of do enjoy. You just need to enjoy it in little smaller increments, or having the your built-in things where you have those breaks. You take a little walk around the block, or,
Bring your DS.
but
Just
that,
space out of it.
bring your DS. Exactly. I used to have my Game Boy. I would sit there with the
Yeah.
Game Boy.
Mhm.
But even then it's like, but you can't be rude, don't be rude. And but not having like, if you don't have that kind of support system already put in place, because maybe you don't, that, like you said, you didn't even realize back then, that, how hard those things are. It's hard. It's hard for a parent to kind of, predict and see where, are they going to need this, or, and as autistics, we don't communicate the best. So it's a really hard situation all around, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Mhm. I'm not someone who is very affected by that many sensory issues when it comes, especially like the physical ones. I don't get grossed out by hugs and stuff. And I thought for a while, like ever since I learned about sensory issues, that like I was just an anomaly. Like it was very weird that all these other people who have the same diagnosis as me experience these issues that like I don't have problems with. And then it wasn't until like 2 years ago, while at work, I heard a metal grinding noise that was coming from one of our conveyor lines that
Oh,
literally made me have to go to my supervisor. It's like, either switch me to a different position or give me earplugs right now, because I cannot work with that right now and I'm crashing out. And they were like,
Yeah.
okay, yep, here's some earplugs. It's like, thank you so much. And that was like the first time I've
maybe
ever
I
had that.
do have a little bit of sensory issues.
It's like, yep.
Well, I remember in an FSF, one of our very first FSFs, and I think it was Boomy, but I'm not sure exactly. But I remember like they were saying, yeah, I don't have any sensory issues. And then as everyone started talking, going down,
They're like,
in
"Oh,
FSF,
yeah, I
we go
do."
down the list. They were like, I take that back. I have all of that stuff. That's my autism. Like, we're like, yes. I think it was Boomy, because I think they were also like,
I
they
think
didn't
it
know what
was.
stimming was. Yeah, they were like, I don't think I've ever stemmed before. I don't even know what stimming is.
No, that was
Because
me,
we were
I
talking
think,
about,
because I didn't
no,
know
no,
what
oh,
stimming
well,
was either.
yeah, no, this one, I know for a fact that stimming also was Boomy. I think we had a few people in the beginning that like, what is stimming? What is vocal stemming? What is, what is, because I think one of our first topics was, do you stem in public? And if so, how does that affect you? Like, how do you feel about it? Like, do you own it and you're proud of it, or do you hide it? And that was, and so many people were like, what is stimming? And I was like, wow, like, let me introduce you to yourselves. This is autism. Like, this is a part of your autism. And they're like, I do that. I do that. I do that too. And it was like, welcome to stimming, guys. You all do it. Sounds like it reminded me kind of your, I didn't know I had sensory issues until I got, put in a position where it came out.
Yeah.
It came out with vengeance.
Because
You
like,
will cover my ears or you will not see me ever again.
because like I've had issue, or not sensory issues, but I've heard of like all my friends like from this community talking about the issues that they have with like physical touch or loud noises. Like I never had any problem with loud noises growing up. Like family gatherings and stuff like that, I just like, I'm gonna just chill out over here with my DS, and I didn't actually. I may have. It may have been a thing
That
where I
DS
built up a
was your coping skill.
tolerance. Well, it's not
Yeah,
even that.
yep.
Like, even if I didn't have the DS, I was completely fine most of the time. Like at family gatherings, if my parents grounded me or something like that, I'd just be like, okay, sit still or play with the other kids, one of the two.
Yeah.
So I never had like those instances where like I'm learning that I have sensory issues until like very recently. It's like, oh wow, huh? I I don't like that noise. I don't like that noise a lot. I'm gonna leave if I can't stop this noise from happening.
Wait till
So
you get older and they intensify. And this is something that I don't think I was prepared for, but like the older I get, the harder it is. And I realize like, how did I put up with this as a kid so well? And here I am now, like, panic attacks just going in the grocery store or, making a phone call or, all these things. Is like, how did I go like, so long with it? And I think it's just because we're so much better natural masker. Like we start learning to mask so young. Um, and like we haven't, it's not that we've built up a tolerance, it's that we're still building that. And then like one day you just kind of break. Like it just, you don't have
Yeah.
that tolerance anymore. Things that didn't
Turbulating.
bother you, I had no issues with this before, and now I'm okay, I'm done, And so
yeah.
you playing your DS and you, doing your other things, we're kind of probably in the process of you building up that tolerance. And like you said, and then now as an adult, you're in a different situation. You're like, no, nope, not happening. It's not happening.
I think also when you get older, you kind of become more self-aware of the things that bother you too. Like you kind of, and you're also a better, I'd say, as an adult at, saying no or removing yourself from a situation that bothers you. Like I think there are things that when I was younger I didn't realize bothered me that as an adult I'm a lot better at going, actually, I really don't want to deal with that today. I really don't, that noise really is bothering me, or that situation's really uncomfortable. I don't particularly want to be in that today. So I think as you get older as well, it's not so much that your tolerance has dropped or that like you crack. It's that you get better at knowing what your actual limits are, so you don't have like a sudden attack of like, of a meltdown or some kind of like overwhelming feeling.
With that being said, I know we talked about your sensory issues, but how did you come to cope with them most of the time? Was it literally what I said about just using a DS Emerald, or did you do other things in order to help?
Yeah, just distractions, pretty much. That's all.
Which games
Just
were
playing my DS.
which
You're
games?
a gamer. Which games?
Which games? What were your coping games?
What is your coping games and why is it Stardew Valley? Thank you.
Stardew Valley was not
I
around
can't
probably
thi-
during that time.
I can't
I know. I'm
think of
just,
a
I'm just
specific.
kidding.
I can't.
It was
think of a
Paperboy.
specific one. My coping game on the DS was probably New Super Mario Brothers.
Good one.
I can tell you mine was
Yeah.
it was Pokemon Soul
What's that?
Silver.
Oh.
I never had Soul Silver, but I did have Pokemon Diamond, and I couldn't figure out how to get past the first cave because I didn't know how to apply a TM to my Pokemon.
You sound like me. I'm still there.
This is what happens when you skip over all the dialogue and you don't read.
That's
Yeah.
me too. ADHD. Hi. There's dialogue.
Believe it or not, there is dialogue.
People are like, don't you know the lore? I'm like, what is lore? And no, just show me how to play the game. Like,
I mean,
I don't need it back.
to be completely fair to you, Emerald, back when on the 3DS, when they released the virtual console versions of like Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, I remember getting to the first cave in Pokemon Yellow, and like obviously it was meant to like you were meant to use flash and stuff like that, and I was like, I had to have missed something. I had to have missed the TM, and I literally backtracked through like 3 different cities, talked to every single NPC, looked for every single item, could not find flash until I learned that like, oh no, you were supposed to go through this blind and then later get flash and be like, oh. And I was like, wow, I'm glad they evolved from that. That's crap game design. Like, what the
Yeah, that
fuck were
is
you
terrible
thinking
game
of, Game
design.
Freak, back then? I was.
How did you know this
pissed.
stuff though? Like, how did you know? Like,
Looking
because when
up
I was
online.
a kid,
Because this
see,
was
and
back
when I
when
was a kid, we had the
yeah.
Nintendo magazine, and the magazine would show where like certain warps were, like for Super Mario Brothers, and
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
So
This was back when the 3DS was out, so the online and
Gotcha.
Pokemon Yellow was already a very learned game at the time.
gotcha.
Mhm.
I didn't really get into any Pokemon games until Pokemon Go, and then of course Pokemon Violet.
Mhm. Pokemon Soul Silver
in
was my
fact,
foray,
we were
so everything
talking
beforehand
about
was
that.
weird.
We were actually talking about Violet yesterday in the What Are We Playing session, or not yesterday, maybe the day before. Supo had brought up wanting to maybe have a game where the audience kind of makes the calls on things, and I was like, oh, I said Obby did something similar to
Yeah,
that. We
that-
got to name the Pokemons and tell them who to fight, and yeah, it was really fun. We need more stuff like that. That was fun.
Yeah, but it was also a 2-day thing that I had to do because I got so
and it cost
tired.
you some money. I told Supa, I said I have a Munchlax stuffed animal on my desk here
Yep.
because of that stream.
I would love to
So,
do
good
a
time.
sort of Skate-a-thon again where it's like actual challenge based like that, but also at the
Yeah.
same time I had a job back then.
Yeah, it was a big commitment. But it is fun because when the audience gets to participate and help call shots, it's very interactive. And that's what Supa was looking for, is something, to where we do
Yeah.
that. So
It
fun
sucked.
stuff.
I will say it sucked because I did pre-order the game and I wanted to play it that night because it came out like it was a midnight release at GameStop. I went to GameStop,
Oh, gotcha.
got it, and then I was like, oh, I really want to play it, but I have to wait like 7 hours and then wake up and then play it. And so I was like,
what do you do?
fine.
Can't sleep. It's like Christmas
Luckily,
Eve. How do
Yeetie
you
was
sleep?
there as soon as I joined the call. It's like, thank you, Yeetie, for being here at 7 a.m.
Which was like, what, 4 a.m. my time, I think.
And
something
you
like
still
that.
joined very early too for your time.
I did. I was excited. Yeah, it was really fun.
But
It was a
yeah.
good time. It was a good stream.
Thank you. Your stream was good yesterday too, Evan, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I need to get back on that later this week.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe tomorrow.
Good to see a lot of streaming.
With that being
Yeah, it's
said,
always one of the more fun parts.
Emerald, is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
Not much, really.
Not much, really.
It was really cool having you here. It's nice to get to know you a little bit
Yeah,
better.
happened.
I feel like I've known you. Like I said, I remember lighting the trios, portals. Like this would have been a long time, probably 19-ish, 2019. And yeah. And but I never actually got a chance to really talk to you. So this is pretty cool.
Yeah. It is really
Yeah.
cool.
All I'm gonna
meeting-
say is
not meeting you. I've met you before.
all I'm gonna
but
say is
talking to you more.
All I'm gonna say is I'm working on a very secret project, and you all should be there when the time comes.
I
yeah,
Tell us
will
when, and we'll be
there.
there. Just tell us when, we'll be there. Very exciting.
Yeah. Also, you should watch my animations. They're very cool.
Your
Well, there's the
animation
link right
playlist
there.
will be in the in the description below. And Evan no
Yep.
longer has a seat
Oh,
because I
below.
punched him.
It's okay. He didn't need a
Wow.
seat.
Yeah.
It was overrated.
Evan can stand for this outro. So,
Wow.
Emerald, at the end of every time we have a guest, we like to ask them to add something to our set. So, if you
Yes.
would not mind, could you pick anywhere on the set, gray walls, black wall over here, anywhere you like? Would you add
From
something
like
to the
about
set?
where I'm at on. like this
Nope.
one.
Back where Evan is on is for that gray wall.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. This way on.
Yes.
I don't know. I guess ahead would be good. Yeah, I'll
I
put
love
it-
BB's
I don't know.
upside down cup. It's so perfect.
Yeah. It's
Oh, I
perfect.
have to trust you, don't I? /plot.
I also love the newest. I love the
Trust.
newest edition as well. The estrogen here. It's such a great.
Mhm.
edition.
Emeralds on
And
toast.
Saren's
There you
ditto
go. You
head.
should be able to place now.
I should add something else.
Oh, and a sign.
There we
I think
go.
I'm
It makes you
oh,
look
that's
like you
actually
have
perfect.
a big brain.
It actually reminds me of like a Mario, like
Massive
you're jumping
brain.
up on a coin, like you're jumping up to hit a block to to get
It kind of
annoying.
does. I love it. It's actually very fitting considering what we were talking about.
And if you
Yeah.
want, just add a sign to the emerald block or something. Any sign, whatever sign you'd like. Not that we have a format, but we kind of have a format with a bunch of equal
We have a
signs.
format. Equal, name, date, equal. It's not going to bother us if you don't do it, but we're autistic, so it's going to bother us if you don't do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Don't worry, Arctic didn't do it last
And
time.
honestly-
so-
Waffles didn't do it. Nope. They're Australian. They're
Waffles
upside
is
down,
a
so it's okay.
trendsetter, so
She breaks molds.
She's a real leader.
I think
Oh, yeah,
Rosie's
like
with
a-
the Queen's Ashes is just too
glowing.
funny.
Yeah. Look at that shine.
Oh god, that shade. I don't
Woo,
like that shade.
love
of
it.
Green.
I don't like that shit.
There we go.
There we
that's
go.
perfect.
There we go.
And now
Awesome.
our Skade flag is now an emerald block. Let's go.
Yay!
All right.
Let's go.
Well, with that being said, I think that's going to wrap it up for this podcast episode. Thank you all for watching as always. It's been fun having you here. If you like the video, please like the video or don't. That's up to you.
Or don't.
No,
And
don't
we
do
it.
will
Like it, like
see
it.
you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.